Hello and welcome back to Scrap Your Stash. So I'm going to be using, we're going to just jump right in. Of course, have Daisy for sentiment. I have this little stamped tree from our stamp of the month currently. I have black. This is from our current collection Wander with the topo on the back. I'm going to be using the Starry Sky. This is actually from Timber last year. It's just a PML card. I'm going to be using that for the inside, I believe. And hopefully I'll get to that and remember to do that for you guys today. I'm going to use that. I also have various circles. So I have two Sundance, large and a small. I have a large and a small peacock and a medium paprika. So that's what I'm going to be using. I also have the stamp sets that I'm going to be doing. This is a sympathy card, so I'm going to be using this floral borders and sentiments with deepest sympathy. Those are the only ones I'm going to be using. Here's the stamp set with that tree. And I'm going to be watercoloring the tree. And we'll see if we use the tree. I don't really know yet. So I'm going to put these circles aside and we're going to go ahead and cut. And those circles are left over. I do a lot of circles and such, so they're left over from other projects. And I just keep all my circles together. Okay, so I'm going to be using black as the background. So I'm going to be using this as a 1/4 inch under what it is. So let's actually do 4 inches by 5 1/4. Okay, so there's that. Then we're going to do this one 1/4 inch off of that. So this is going to be 5 inches by 3 3/4. And I believe that's what this is, too wide. But it's going to be going across this way. And I'm going to trim this down to, I think I'm going to do 1 3/4. Let's start with 1 3/4. I know that those stamps are about 1 1/2 thick, so let's just do 1 3/4. Let me combine them. So there's those. Let's go ahead and stamp. I'll flip this over. I'm going to grab my stamps. I'm going to trim her away for the moment. I don't think I need it anymore, but you never know, right? Okay. Then, sorry guys, my light kind of dimmed. So knocked it. Okay. Get my deepest sympathy. I'm going to have to use a longer block on this. Oops, not celebrate. This is a sympathy card. We're not celebrating. We're just sending our sympathies to this person. I've done a couple sympathy cards in the last few weeks, which is quite sad. Okay, so it would fit on this 3 1/2 by 2, but it's barely fitting, so I'm just going to use this one. And I'm going to put it very low down, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab with deepest, and I'm going to grab it just above it in the middle. Okay. And I could have laid it on top of here, but what happens sometimes is that it gets wiggly and it doesn't stay straight. So it's easier if you just lay it down, because then it assumes its natural form, if you will. I'm going to use sapphire on this one. Of course, sapphire is one of my favorite colors. Don't forget that some of our colors might be going away soon. I can tell you that there are some that will be. I don't know which ones yet. I haven't gotten my catalogs yet. Once I know, I will be posting for you guys. I'm actually going to do it as far down as I can, because then I can trim it again. Okay, so there's that with deepest sympathy. Because I want it as narrow as possible. on this one. So it's going to go in the middle of the card. And you'll see why I want it pretty narrow. The way it looks just fine. Okay, so let's put the stamps back and gently peel them off. The deepest. Okay, my blocks are done. Now I'm going to bring my trimmer back in. This stuff. And I'm just going to trim this. As closely as possible. So I trimmed about 1/4 inch off. I knew it was about 1.5 inch thick piece, right? So, and my trimmer. Okay, now I could dovetail one side if I really want, and I might, because I love dovetails and I love how they look, but I don't know yet. So, let's go ahead and start constructing this card. Oh, I still need my trimmer, actually. So, my circles. So my large one is a 2 1/4. So I have 2 of those. And my medium one is 1 3/4. And my small one is 1 1/4. Okay. So let's bring this trimmer back in because we're going to cut these right in half. So this is 2 1/4. So 1 1/8 is half. I sure hope so anyway. And that looks about half on my trimmer. I don't know if you guys can see that. There we go. So it looks about half on my trimmer, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut it. And I'm going to do that with the other circle as well. The other large circle, so 1 1/8. Keep those 2. Now I'm going to be doing this one. We said was 1 2 or 1 3/4. So 1 3/4 is what, 7/8. 1 2 3 1 2 2 3. I don't do math very well. So bring these in. Yep. So 7/8. I'll just make sure that looks about right. So that's good. That's the only one of those that I have. The other one is 1 1/4, I believe, is what we've said. Okay, so 1 1/4 divided by 2 is what, 5/8, I think. There's 5/8. Okay, so there's that one. Then this one. And what I'm realizing is that these sink right perfectly into that groove, and I actually don't have to measure. But it's always good to double check, right? So there's all my little pieces, little doodads. Okay, let's start constructing the card. So it's going to be like this first. So let's go ahead and do that. Now I could do the topo, but I really like the stars on this. I think it goes along with this, more of a sympathy card. Now if I was doing a birthday card for this person, this definitely would have been the best paper. Because they're very outdoorsy and they like to hike. So, but this is not a birthday or a happy card. Okay. Now I do want the deepest sympathy in the middle here, and I am going to put 3D foam tape on it, but not yet. So I'm going to be doing this, and I just kind of want to see. It's cut this tree out, and then we'll color it if we want. So again, the best shears are the really sharp ones, and I prefer really little shears for fussy cutting. You hold your shears still and you just move the paper. And I'm just doing a really quick fussy cut job. It's not perfect. It's just really generic, really bubbly. I'm not going in all the little grooves. And you don't have to. You never have to. You can do whatever you want. And you can cut off pieces that you don't want. Sometimes on the gnomes with No Matter What stamp set, I cut off the flower just so I can use them as, you know, a different gnome, like Christmas or whatnot. So, and I think, so I can always shove this over and put the tree there, which I think is actually very lovely. But let's just line these all out and see how we like it. So what I'm doing, I'm sure you guys have seen this before, but in fact I should probably just glue these down so that I can move them around to where I want them. But I put them all in the same corner here on this side. Okay, and then we do opposites. And put them in the other corner. I'm sure you all have seen cards like this, and some of you may be wondering why I'm not scrapbooking today. My grandfather's scrapbook is actually gone. I finished it up for the most part, so my parents now have it, and they're going to scan it for me. But so that's why I'm not working on a scrapbook right now. I do have one that I'm working on, but not intensely like I was that one. So that's what this card is going to look like. And I quite like it with the tree, so I think I'm going to color the tree. But let's go ahead and glue this all down, and then we'll actually do the tree popping up instead of the with Deepest Sympathy. So let's get my glue. I'll just glue these down. Now the best part about the liquid glue is that you can slide them around and they're going to still be a little bit mobile. If you're using like Tombow adhesive runner or any other adhesive runner, you stick it, it's a little bit more difficult to peel up, so just be aware of that. So sometimes I do really like this Tombow glue, the liquid glue, and in fact my liquid glue is like almost gone just because of all the scrapping I've been doing. I went through tons of Tombow. I ran out of Tombow, and then I went to my liquid glue, and now have almost used 2 liquid glues on my scrapbook that I was doing for my grandfather. So, and I know I told you that I would share with you the scrapbooks, but my cousins are on my page, and some of them view my videos, and I don't want them to see it yet. So I will show you the scans of them. It's not going to be the actual scrapbook, but I just don't want to ruin the surprise at the birthday party. Okay, so I'm actually going to do, if I can remember to do it, I'm going to actually cut some of this up. This is my thin 3D foam. I'm going to pop this with Deepest Sympathy up. So I'm just going to get 3 strips. I'm going to leave the one in the middle with the backing still on. And the reason being is that this way it doesn't sink and I can stick things behind it. So I don't have to have that backing off because it's not necessary to peel it off and make sure it sticks. So This way I can still put things behind it. Okay, so this part is not sticky, so I can actually bend this up and make sure that this can go in. That's why I did that. And then that way it's all ready to be stuck in there. And I think that'll work better for me. Okay, so we're going to do this one up here. And then I did opposite down here. You could do the same pattern if you'd like, but I liked the opposite. Down here. I'm going to put it all the way over here on the other side of the sympathy. Gives it just a fun little swirly doodad in there. Put all this stuff away for the moment, and let's go ahead and watercolor this really quickly. Now, I'm not going to use the actual watercolors, I'm going to use the color pencils. So, and Close to My Heart just put out a video of this. I haven't watched it yet, but they just put out a video for watercoloring. So if you guys want to go check it out, go to their YouTube page or to their Facebook page, and you can find it there. Actually, I don't want lava brown, I want just brown. So I'm just going to quickly color, and then we'll go back through with the water. That's one great thing about watercolor is you can either dab it on the pencil itself, or you can just watercolor brush it afterwards, which is quite nice. Now this is just on Daisy. This isn't on our special watercolor paper. 90% of the time I just use Daisy. But you can use watercolor paper, which would probably be better. You don't have to. And I'm just shading what I want with this one, and then I'll go back in with the light color. So with this light green, I'm sorry if my head's in the way. Can't see the screen. Okay. Again, you can do as messy as you want because we're going to watercolor it afterwards. I am going to go ahead and color the grass too. Be more of a Kentucky bluegrass, I guess. Because it's a bluey green, I can always go over it. And we'll shade them, we'll blend them in. There, now it's more vibrant. Okay, so I have my water pen, my water brush. You can use just a regular brush if you'd like, but I am just, don't want a whole lot of water on here. I just want enough to blend it. Take away some of my pencil lines. And it makes it kind of more vibrant, and it makes it, I think it makes it a little bit more fun. Because it takes away the definite structure of your colored pencil lines and just makes it really kind of blurry and fun, and then you look like you're a pro, right? Which I am not. Maybe you are, but I am not a watercolor artist at all. But these make it really easy to do. So there's my watercolor. Very easy and fast. Okay, so this goes. It's almost dry, so I am going to put it down here. I think it just gives a little bit of life to the card. Because this is, to me, this is very dark. And really, I don't really want it to be that dark. Yeah, it's sad, but I want it to give light to a person as well. So I'm just going to clip some 3D foam, put it on here. Now the non-stick shears are great for this because the 3D foam tape doesn't stick to them. Now again, I don't have to peel all of these. I can just leave the other two in the middle on, but I am going to actually peel most of them. I may leave one without peeling, but and I think it just gives it life. So there's that. We're going to put this on the front of the card. So just like that. Okay, so I think it gives it brightness with that tree. I think it looks really good. Okay, so we're going to do the inside. And I'm starting to do more on insides of the cards, just because then it gives a little bit more character to the card. So I can do it like that, or I can do it like this. Thinking about using a strip of this, but I don't know yet. It works pretty well because it's all the way up. And then use it like so. And then this is where I'd write a sentiment. My problem is that I always have such a large area and I write so little a lot of the time. Sometimes I write a lot, but like with this, I really honestly don't know what to say. So I probably won't write much. And maybe I just put this in here, and maybe I put it in like so. I don't know yet. I'm going to put it in like this, and I'm just going to put it in the middle. And it's just going to look a little bit more done, but it fills up my page for me a little bit more. That's what I need. A lot of the time I stamp a sentiment in here just to fill up a lot of the page, but really I don't know what sentiment to put in here at the moment. I do have some ones that, like, say, for more of like front of cards and inside of cards. They're like, I'm sorry for your loss, and then it has like something else inside, or and some of them are Christian based. Like, God will always keep you in your, I'll keep you in my prayers, and God will keep you in your care, in His care, or something like that. So I do have those, but I think this is probably pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and write my sentiment in there, but there's the front of the card. I think it's perfect for a male who needs a little pick-me-up, and let him know that I'm thinking of him. Alright, we'll talk to you guys later, and thanks for joining me. Bye.